All right, so we are live today. We're live with a special interview. We're live with one of our clients, all right, Scott Holliday. He's got the coolest name in the world, all right? And we're going to break down Scott's sales process, and we're going to show you how Scott quite literally went from making like 10 grand a month, 12 grand a month, already doing well, making six figures, and now how he's more than doubled his commissions, and he's selling the exact same thing as he was before. Now, how long have you been here with us? Maybe 3 or 4 months? 4 months? I don't even remember.
No, a litlittle bit longer, Jeremy. I went through steps. I've been with you guys overall about, man, almost nine months, I would say now, because I took steps, right?
You started okay, so you started in like our NEPQ 3.0 program, which is where most people start. That's probably
3.0.
Yeah, so you started NEPQ 3.0, then you got into like the more advanced inner circle, maybe 3, 4 months, 5 months.
Yes. Maybe a boot camp or two in between.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to break down his sales process. I'm going to ask him some questions where you can take what he's telling you and apply it to your industry to help you sell more starting today. All right. Now, if you're brand new to maybe our Facebook group, because we're going live in our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, LinkedIn, our YouTube account, Facebook business page, got about 100,000 people on there. Facebook groups got about, 38,000 of you run around in there, and my personal Facebook. All right. So if you're brand new to watching us, my name is Jeremy Miner. Okay. I'm the chairman and founder of Seventh Level. We are a company, an organization that trains salespeople exactly like you watching me and Scott right now. Okay, so we train sales professionals like you. We train sales executives like you, sales management like you. We train entrepreneurs, business owners like you, coaches, consultants, doesn't matter. And we train you and your teams really how to transform the way you sell by learning specific skilled questions and techniques, get this, that actually work with human behavior rather than work against it. That might be important for you to know. Now, those are known, like Scott knows, as neuro-emotional persuasion questions. That stands for NEPQ. Now, it's not just the questions, but it's with the right tonality. Is it more of a curious tone in certain parts of your conversation? Is it more of a skeptical tone? Is it more a concern tone for them? Okay, so we teach you all the differences, which helps you eliminate sales resistance from your prospect. Who wants to eliminate sales resistance? Type me in the chat if that's you. Triggers your prospects to want to engage and actually open up to you and get them to pull you in. Right, Scott? All right, Scott, now where are you based out
of? Toronto.
One of the Canadians, eh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one of those Canadians over there, those crazy Canadians. I heard you guys were locked down forever. Now you're all free. It's back to the free Canada land, right? You're now free. You can go do whatever you want. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. We have a lot of our staff up in your area in Toronto and stuff that work virtually as well. And they're always telling me the crazy stories. I'm like, good Lord, what is going on up there? Crazy. Now, if you guys on here want to acquire the same skills that Scott has acquired, that now has got him up to about 30 grand every single month in commissions, you want to acquire those type of skills, message me directly right now. Okay. So if you want to start making your first 10 grand a month in commissions with what you sell, you want to start making 15, 20, 30 grand a month plus every single month in your industry, message me directly right now. Now, if you can't figure out how to message me directly because you're old like me and we don't know social media, in the comments, post hashtag NEPQ. Post hashtag NEPQ, and either myself or one of my stunt doubles will message you back some different training options if you want to acquire those skills that Scott has and thousands of other clients. All right. Now, if you're on the live right now, I want you to go down to the bottom. So if you're on the live right now, I want you to go down to the bottom of your phone and I want you to post hashtag live. So if you're on the live, I want you to post hashtag live. And if you're on the replay, I want you to post hashtag replay. So I better see a bunch of hashtag lives. I'm not going to interview Scott and have him spill the beans on what we've trained him if I don't see a ton of hashtag lives and a ton of hashtag replays. All right. Now, Nathan, we got somebody on the social media team, maybe Chris, Val, Quincy, Jordan. Let's give the guys on YouTube the Facebook join link because we can't message them back on YouTube and he's asking for information. So let's get him to join the Facebook group so we can then message him in there. All right. Now, Also, I want you to grab your phone and I want you to smash the heart button. Thanks for doing that, Joy. Thanks, David. Thanks, Kuron. Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Joe. Thanks. Yeah, Joe, thanks for doing that. Steve, thanks for doing that. Now, I want you to smash the heart button. I want each of you to smash the heart button, smash the like button. So smash the heart button, smash the like button. I better see hundreds of smashed hearts and hundreds of smashed likes. Otherwise, I'm going to go out here and golf. It's a nice 70 degrees out here in Scottsdale. I could go golfing right now. So smash the heart button, smash the like button. All right, Scott, nobody cares about me. They only care about you and themselves. All right, so walk us through. What do you sell now? Just walk us through who you work for, what you actually sell.
Yeah, I work for an amazing company. We help realtors called the Listings Lab.
Okay.
The Listings Lab based out of, so I've been there for about 3 years now.
And what problems do you solve? Like, what do you solve? Because you sell to real estate agents primarily.
Yeah.
What do you help them do?
Many areas. We focus on their branding, their content overall, their systems in their business, them to be able to scale, have that scalability, and not
train these real estate agents how to scale, which obviously helps them get more listings, how to brand themselves as like the go-to real estate agent in their neck of the woods.
100%.
Kind of like Ryan Serhant, one of our clients, does. Kind of the same type of thing, but you do it better, right?
Yes, that is right.
Okay, all right. We won't.
I'll be quiet there, but yeah, we
won't tell Ryan that. All right, perfect. All right, now, perfect. All right, so walk us through, because I don't think this was your first sales gig. When did you get involved in sales? How many years?
I've been in sales for about 20 years. You're dating me now, but I guess around 20 years. I started fitness sales. And through the years, I've done many things to that capacity in sales. Started my own business.
Like when you first started in sales, like who did you learn from? How did you start to sell? Like, what was your sales techniques like when you first started before you got involved in any PQ?
It's funny for me. I mean, other than company protocols, you work for a company and you get generic type of sales structure, that, right? And I guess my very first sales position, I actually learned from my brother-in-law, and he had a bit of a different technique. This was with my own business, but throughout the years, it's always been more like a generic type of, I think, like with everyone else, right?
Yeah, just like a kind of traditional selling, questions and then kind of go into your pitch and your solution.
Yeah, more product pushing and things like that, I think.
Yeah, you did well at it. You're making 10, 12, even 15 grand a month in commissions. So, I mean, with a lot of salespeople that are making 10 grand a month, 12 grand a month, they think they know everything about selling. They've got the biggest ego in the world. They don't think they could learn anything else. They know everything. What caused Scott to be like, you know what? Like maybe there's more that I need to learn that's going to help me get to 30,000 plus a month in commissions. What was that? Like, what caused you to even think you could sell more? Like, if you learn more skills, you could sell more, make more money. What happened in your brain?
Yeah, I think for me, I was just lucky where I came and I think a lot of salespeople don't really understand to what level you can and that what you do is actually a skill set.
Right.
Right.
And what do you mean by that? Why do you think they don't understand that?
Because I think, most people, when they get to a certain, it's like what you said, you got people that are doing six figures. They think that, they know it all. There's no other room to grow. But, a lot of times are they doing the same thing over and over and over and over again for X amount of years. Right. I think coming across and just really being exposed to NAPQ for me was an eye opener. It was more of a,
what way was it an eye opener?
It's like, I remember going through the entire process, and it just was, I had that aha moment, like, man, there's just so much I don't know that I think I know. There really was. And I think going through what I've went through, I kind of like the pattern that I went through with you guys, because I started at a certain level and kind of, moved up from there.
That's typically what we do. Like our average person, our average client, if they're an individual salesperson, it's different if they own the company, because then, we have B2B deals that we work out with their business owner for all their salespeople. But if they're an individual salesperson, like that just wants to sell more in whatever industry, the average client usually starts in like our advanced NEPQ 3.0. And I think that's where you started, was our 3.0 program. When you went through that virtual training course, because it's not just a virtual training, which is important because that's like a 33-hour course, but it's also the group training week on, week out, where you learn more of the advanced skills, the advanced tonality, the verbal pausing, the advanced objection prevention skills that we don't even teach in the platform. What was it like? What specific parts of 3.0 do you feel like really helped you the most, like double your commissions?
Role playing, 100%, hands down. It's one thing learning the foundation, but we all know there's different levels to NEPQ.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you always say to people that you have to go through that module process like many, many times, which I did. But when you start actually working on the process in more of a practical way, it's for me, it was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was an absolute game changer.
So what part of the role playing do you feel like helped you the most? Like what aspects?
I think, honestly, just being around other sales professionals and, the high level coaching, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of like, it's almost like, when I got into 3.0, I just put my pride aside. Like I didn't come to this thinking, okay, I'm like, what are they going to teach me? And I remember going through the process thinking, holy geez.
Yeah. Where did you start going? Like month 1, month 2? Like what did you start? What type of results did you start seeing? Like, and we don't even need to talk about financial, because I know you more than double your income. Like, how did your prospects start to treat you differently? How did they react to you differently than maybe they were with the old way you used to sell?
Yeah, I think again, it's phases, right? Like I think once you have the right foundation, what really hit me with NEPQ and what I almost saw like instant results was my position of questioning, where I could really, like, at the end of the day, and I've always been focused that way with sales and customers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you have that foundation where you can really be very clear on the direction that you're going, but also really engage in that conversation, that's when things change straight away.
Yeah, because when you're able to trigger the prospect you're talking to, because do you get on Zoom with them, or are you mainly on
Zoom? Usually Zoom calls.
Okay, so you're on Zoom calls with them. But the problem is like most prospects or most salespeople just ask what we call surface level questions. The prospect stays surface level. And then at the end, what objection you're going to get. I want to think it over. I need to keep looking around. Let me talk with my spouse. I'll get back to you. I need to pray about it. It's a big decision. We don't have the money. So because they stay surface level with you, they never go below the surface. You never peel the layers back from the onion, and they don't really feel a gap from where they are compared to where they could be, because our questioning skills are too surface level. So when you started to learn how to trigger them to actually, because you can't just go in and ask like real emotional questions without getting the prospect to want to answer them, right? If you force that onto them, they're just gonna be like, well, why are you asking me that? Or that seems really personal, right? So there's certain bridging statements and questions we ask that trigger the prospect to feel comfortable enough to want to actually engage in that type of conversation. And what did you notice your prospects were doing when you were starting to get them to go below the surface?
It was a completely different engagement, because now they are, like you said, they're opening up, because I am not there to sell them. They pick up on that when you have the right questioning in there. Like when I am with a prospect, when I jump on a call, and first of all, I'm very passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
The company I work for, I'm very passionate about them.
Yeah.
So obviously that's important. But when you have the right foundation to really, like you said, go on a deeper level and really walk someone through, like, here is your problem.
Yeah.
Here, let's walk through this together. I am fully disconnected from the outcome, because I am so engaged in that person. I want to help that person.
Yeah, they feel that you're concerned for them. And when they feel that it's not just by you saying like, oh, how are you doing today? And just being friendly with them. Being friends with somebody does not trigger a prospect to want to change their situation.
100%.
Repeat that to everybody. Trying to be friendly, typically, now you don't need to be mean, but you need to be more matter of factly. Like you're there to help them find and solve problems that maybe they didn't realize they had before that conversation. And when the prospect feels that you're there to help them get what they said they wanted, they feel like you understand their unique situation more than any other salesperson they've ever met. And when they feel that, it's over. They will gladly pay you way more money than any other person selling what you do, because they feel like you're going to get them the best result, because they feel like you understand their situation the most. See what I mean?
Totally. And I think when you go through that process thoroughly and you're in control and you know where you're going, because this is their first time, you're the one in control.
Yeah.
You have to be very conscious of that. But when you go through that process, like, I'll be honest, I don't get a lot of objections.
Why don't you?
Because I really feel I cover those with them through the process.
And
if I do get an objection, it's really more so a concern.
Yeah, it's like just a question or a concern. Now, that's objection prevention. That's a really good subject, because we teach a lot of objection prevention, like certain questions you ask in that conversation that actually prevent an objection from even happening in their mind, right? Because most objections, 80% of objections are actually triggered by you, the salesperson, and what you say and you don't ask. That trigger no gap in the conversation, so they feel uncertainty in their brain and they feel fear that you can even get them the result they said they wanted. How did you, like, part of the training, we obviously teach objection prevention. Maybe give us an example of something that we taught you about objection prevention that has really helped eliminate some of the objections you used to get all the time.
Many ways. I mean, probably, I personally like situation questions.
Okay.
Right. Keeping it short and sweet and really understanding, like, what are they doing now?
Yeah.
What are they using specifically? How long have they been doing that? And what really got them involved in doing it that way? I like that question, because that really, opens them up where they're walking through their, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. That, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. So give us an example of a situation question, because obviously we train a bunch of people in your industry as well. I'm assuming one of them is like, okay, can you walk me through, what you do to generate new leads and clients?
Yeah, for sure. Like, walk me through, just walk me through your business right now. Like, where are you generating your business from? Walk me through that process.
Yeah. And they
where are these people coming from? And just like kind of and again, it's not an emotional, this is where you're just literally getting the facts.
Well, it's important because we have to, it's not just for us to know their situation, but more importantly, it's to help your prospect really understand what their real situation is. Because I hate to tell everybody in here, most of your prospects, when you first start talking to them, whether you believe it or not, don't really understand what their real situation is.
They don't. Absolutely.
They've never really thought about it like you think about it, because you know the problems of everybody you talk to. So you see it from like a 10-mile radius, right? They're seeing it in their little shell. You're seeing it from way up here. Now, here's the difference. If we tell them their situation and tell them their problems, that's just going to go in one ear out the other, because you're biased. You're the salesperson. They know that. So by us asking even those starting of the situation questions, it triggers them to get emotionally involved.
Yeah.
And when they get emotionally involved, even if, like you said, they have a concern, because they've got so much emotion wrapped up in their problems and why they need to change, they become way more open for you helping them resolve that concern.
Well, it's a whole different conversation at that point.
In what way? How is it a different conversation for you than it used to be before an APQ?
You're getting deeper to the core. You're getting deeper to the things that really matter to them. Because at the end of the day, it's about them and it's how they're doing things. And once you start going into certain scenarios where, how is this having an impact on you? Right. I've been through myself, like NEPQ is very fascinating to me, because especially when you get to things like consequences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Being a sales professional and being in business a long time, I've been through those situations myself.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there. And so it's important to really, really understand your line of questioning. Yeah. So because you're going to bring that conviction as well.
Yeah. And let's talk about tonality for a second. Then I'm going to have you give a few examples of maybe a problem awareness or a consequence question that we've tried to use. We won't have you give away everything. We're going to give some golden nuggets for everybody listening. What has changed in your tonality since going through NEPQ?
Well, tonality, but more important, timing.
Yeah.
pauses, things like that have an impact.
Yeah. Verbal pausing.
Verbal pausing, but also just timing of your questionings. Because again, like you said, these people, a lot of times they don't know the problem. They tend to get off in different directions.
Yeah. So like a problem awareness question for you, and it might be different depending on what they said in their situation questions you ask them, but just a generic one for your industry might be, okay, so you've been using, Facebook ads to build your business the last 6 years. Do you like the results you've been getting from that? Now, what did I just do? That's a verbal pause.
Verbal pause.
Now, why wouldn't I ask now? Here, everybody tell me how it sounds when I do it fast and I don't verbal pause. So you've been using Facebook ad strategy for the last 6 years. Do you like the results you're getting? See, that's a knee-jerk question, surface level, and they're going to give me a knee-jerk answer. They're going to be like, yeah, it's not bad. But if I say, so you've been using this Facebook ad strategy the last 5 years, do you like the results you've been getting? See how that sounds so much different, except I said the exact same words, but that little verbal pause, what does that do? It triggers the prospect to think deeper about the question I just asked. Because if they don't think deeper, that means they stay surface level. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree fully. Like for me now at this where I am, with a lot of the training that I've done, it's almost like subconsciously, like that's just how I operate.
Yeah.
Right. But again, it goes back to, it's one thing having that foundation. This is a very powerful foundation, but it's the main thing, and you always say this, is that you're listening.
Yeah.
You're helping them get to the area that they need to get to.
100%. Now, let's also talk about different things with tonality, because we just talked about verbal pausing. Now, two people that really do well with verbal pausing, like public figures. And guys, when I say this, I'm not saying politics. I watch people that are in the public eye and how they communicate. I don't care about politics. Everybody has their own beliefs. We live in free countries. You guys, everybody can believe what they want to believe. Okay. But two people that are really good, that have been taught this, that because you're not born with these skill sets. These are acquired skills you learn. Tony Robbins is really, really good at verbal pausing. If you guys watch him, you've been at his events, when he's walking around stage, when he walks down to the stage and he'll ask a question and he'll pause, or he'll say something and pause in the middle and then ask a question after that. And people are like, oh my gosh, like he's triggering their emotional triggers in their brain. Another person that's really good at that is one of the former presidents, President Obama. When you heard him speak in his speeches, whether you liked him or not, he was really good at verbal pausing. He would say something and he would just pause, and the crowd would be like, oh my gosh, yeah, hope and change. And everybody's crying and everything. That is something he acquired. Somebody taught him that skill set. You're not born with that, but that's the power of even a verbal pause. Now, one thing that is really important that we teach all in our virtual training courses is the power of verbal cues. So when a prospect, you ask them a question and they're talking, instead of you sitting here going like this, and then at the end, when they stop talking, you're like, okay,
interrupting.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Awesome. I like that. Well, I'm curious, John, let me ask you, that sounds scripted, but while they're talking, if I'm going, okay, but walk me back. See, verbal cue, question. See how I did a verbal cue? Okay, but walk me back. See how that verbal cue leads into the next question. Now that's called bridging from question to question. Most salespeople don't know how to do that because they don't know how to bridge. They don't know how to verbal cue question. Their questions sound like an interrogation. And that's when your prospect starts saying, well, hey, just get to the point. I don't have time for all these questions, or just tell me how much it's going to cost. I don't have time for this, because they feel like you're interrogating them, because you ask them a question, they answer, and then you sit back and say, okay, cool, gotcha. John, let me ask you. And you sound like a scripted robot. But if I'm sitting here going like, oh, okay. Okay, but help me understand. See, verbal cue into the question. What happened when you started to learn how to bridge like that?
Well, that's how humans operate, right? Like verbal cues are so powerful because again, you're going through the flow of the conversation. Not having those verbal cues and just like you said, being quiet the whole time and then just okay, and then that creates sales resistance. I many times in the past when salespeople don't even realize they do this.
Yeah.
They just have so much to say and they want to say it, and there's no break there. It goes from zero to just interrupt. And that's the way the prospect's looking at that. So if
Yeah.
you stay with them and you're engaged, which you are,
Yeah.
that's why the verbal cue is so powerful, in my opinion.
100%. It's extremely powerful. And you have to be taught how to acquire that skill. We teach all that in our virtual training courses, plus all the group training, right? With all of our sales trainers, me, Matt, Mark, all of our trainers in there, 100%. It's a game changer once you learn how to change your tone with certain questions. Because when we ask, for example, maybe a consequence question, depending on if they've been open or not, would depend on if we're asking that question in a skeptical tone or more of a concerned tone, right? And if we don't understand that, and we're just asking a skeptical consequence question the whole time, but we should have really asked it with more empathy, we're not going to get the same emotion from that prospect to build a bigger gap, because the bigger the gap, the more likely they are to buy. The smaller the gap, the more likely you are to get a ton of objections and then they don't buy, right? What happened when you started learning how to do that?
Consequences, like I said, for me was big because I've went through those steps myself. And you're absolutely right. You have to, it's got to be, so typically most salespeople wouldn't go in that direction. That would petrify them.
Yeah.
Because they haven't earned that right to go there.
Yeah.
Right. When you earn that right to go there, that's the difference.
Now, why do you feel most salespeople haven't earned that right to go there with the consequence question?
Surface, too much surface.
Because they've stayed surface level with the prospect.
The entire conversation.
The questions are just scripted, one question after the other, surface, surface, surface. And then you can't really ask a consequence question because you haven't earned the right to ask them a really personal question. Right.
Correct.
So like with what you do, like what's a consequence question you use for your industry that we taught you?
A lot. I mean, for me, I just like looking at it like very logical with that person and bringing in the emotion, obviously too. But like, what does happen if you continue to keep going the way that you're going and nothing changes and you continue to be in this position for the next 3 months,
what happens if you don't
months.
do anything about this? And like you mentioned, nobody really knows who you are in your city because of your brand, and your listings keep going down in a down economy. Like what happens at that point? So you can even specify that, right? Because now people are concerned. The economy's going down, harder to sell homes, right? So with what you do, right? So you can apply. So that's a good, really generic one that you can use for anybody, but you can also get very specific depending on their issues and what's going on out in the world, right? Because let's say if I sold solar, for example, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter the industry. You just apply what they've already said and what they know. So if they're concerned about their utility bills keep going up because of the high inflation of the energy cost, okay, but what happens if you don't do anything about this? You stay with the utility company, and like you said, they keep raising your rates another 10 to 15% every single year. Like, how would you pay for the bill at that point? See, that's an individual specified consequence question. We teach you guys all that in our virtual training course, like how to apply what you sell to that framework. All right. Now, Scott, this has been a very unique interview.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was your, let's end it with this, because we gave them a few nibbles, on some different things. How did you use to try to close a sale before NPQ?
I think a lot of times just pushing that product.
What would you say? I think the red one or the blue one?
Yeah. I mean, I think I think I had a little bit more in depth than that, but I think, for me, like I said, I mean, I don't like tackling objections. If objections come up at this point, the way I do what I do, I mean, it's very logistical for me.
Yeah, they're more concerned.
Right. So in the past, like, you would go over these objections and and again, you're missing the entire point, because if you don't create that self urgency for them, then I mean, what are you really doing? We're just going to go back and forth all day.
Yeah. And then you have to go into chase mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's, it's just going through the entire process. And like I said, there are steps to any PQ.
Yeah.
It's one thing getting the foundation right, but it's another thing. There's a whole different levels.
I think some people think like, oh, I can get some free, things that Jeremy talks about in his live, and then I'm going to sell and I'm going to make 3 times as much money. But if you don't, like, I want to make sure everybody understands, NEPQ is like 100,000 piece puzzle.
Yeah.
And in our lives and little things that we do here, we give you like 1 piece out of 100,000.
Yeah.
So you don't understand the structure from taking a prospect all the way from connecting questions to situation questions, to problem awareness, to solution awareness, to consequence, to transition into the next step. Now, if you're a one-call close person, B2C, transition into your presentation and then the close. If you're more of a B2B type of salesperson, your next step might be, after consequence questions, to book a demo, to book a proposal, to book another call with their board, whatever your next step is. And if you don't understand those questions in and out, backwards and forwards, like our clients do who sell the same thing you guys do in your industries, then you're quite literally losing sales that our clients make every single day who are in the same damn industry as you guys are. Okay. Scott, any last words of advice you'd give to somebody that's brand new to sales, or maybe even a vet that's in here?
Well, yeah, vet would be really good. I think, I think applying NEPQ, being new to NEPQ, I think I don't want to, I don't want to overlook anything. Like, even applying NEPQ, you're going to see instant results because you have a strong, but we're talking about once you adapt because this is a skill set and you are training, and we're talking about the top people in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about the top one. I believe I'm the best at what I do.
Sure.
Right. But based on the hard work I've put in and the support I get. Right. So it's very important to understand that, like, where this is talking about being consistent at what you do. You're only going to be consistent at what you do with the right skill set and applying what you're learning.
Now, I have to ask this question, because I always know if we've done our job, if we're doing our job, does your spouse like us since we've helped you go from 140 grand a year to 350,000 a year in commissions?
Yes.
Okay. As long as the spouse is on board and they're okay with more than doubling or tripling the income, then we know we're doing something right for them.
Well, I didn't get my spouse involved when I signed up, because I make my own decisions, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, you made a good decision. Smart. All right, perfect. Hey, Scott, thanks for being on here. You're the man. We appreciate you. Well done. Congratulations on your result. And the cool thing is that you're still learning.
Always.
What we've learned so far has gotten you up to 30 grand a month in commissions. You've even had some month where you've gone over 40, but you're consistently around that 30 mark. But look, 3 months from now, you'll probably be consistently averaging 35, 36. 6, 7 months from now, you'll probably be consistently averaging 40, 45, right?
Yeah.
So as you keep learning and keep tweaking, you just sell more of maybe the same prospects that you might miss here and there now. You're able to scoop up more of them as you keep learning. So as my good friend Bradley always says, is training something you did, or is training something you do?
Yeah.
If you want to be a top 1% earning salesperson in your industry, like Scott is in his, training is something you do daily if you want to make a lot of money. Now, if you don't like money, if you just want to work a bunch of hours and hit your head against the brick wall and not make very much, then you don't have to do any training. Right? It's a free world out there. Scott, thanks for being on here. Now, look, guys, if you're on here, we give you little nibbles on these. If you're on this live on YouTube or LinkedIn or our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, our Facebook business page, or even my Facebook, you want to start acquiring the same skills that Scott and really tens of thousands of our clients have done at this point. You want to start making 10 grand a month consistently in your industry. Or let's say you want to start making 15 or 20 or 30 or even 40 grand every single month in exactly the same industry you're in right now. Because I can assure you, we are training salespeople and companies in your industry watching us right now that are making 2, 3, 4, 5 times what you are, that sell the exact same thing, same industry. Okay. Is there any difference? Are you different than them? Do they comb their hair every morning? Do they brush their teeth? Do they drink water? Do they eat food? Do they have kids? Do they have issues and trials and tribulations? Yes. There's no difference. The only difference is they've acquired skills that work with human behavior, whereas you're still using skills that you've been forced to learn. It's not your fault, that actually work against human behavior. And that's why you're triggering so many objections. It's not your fault. You were forced to learn those. So if you want the opportunity to actually acquire skills that work with human behavior like Scott does and thousands of others, message me directly right now. So if you're on LinkedIn, message me directly right now. If you're in our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, or the Facebook business page or my Facebook, message me directly right now. If you don't know how to message me, then just post hashtag NEPQ, hashtag NEPQ, and either myself or someone on our team, one of my stunt doubles, will message you back directly with some different training options. You're even welcome to book a call with one of our team members that will go over all the different options we have for your specific industry, so you can make that type of money as well. Scott Holliday, you're the myth, the man, the legend, and can't wait to see you keep making more money. Good job.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You make more money, your prospects do better, right?
100%.
100%. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. I probably will go live tomorrow with the Q&A. We will post about that in the morning. Scott, you're the man. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Take care.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here, right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're gonna help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.